Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is November. It is March the 20th, and I'm super excited to be with you this morning. Thank you for having all of your beautiful faces and handsome faces in the screen. I love the energy. Can't wait to be with you guys next Tuesday for database day. Man, my brain is all over the freak, but Elias got me in too many damn masterminds and meetings. Focus up. Zillow Mastermind check in on Tuesday. Super excited to be with you guys. Looking forward to our cocktail for converters, but Dan is going to get into all of that a little bit later on in the session. Hey, ask you one time if you can act like you want to be here for the next 60 minutes. I would really appreciate that. If I've got to be present and Dan's got to be present, we're going to ask that you meet us in the middle and be present with us as well. As you know, we always kick off each conversion clinic on Thursdays with an open sentiment. I love to tap into the humanity of us because we're all human beings living in this world. And I truthfully believe that when we live from an empowered life, everything else as an offshoot, kind of like this tree of life, blossoms from that. So without any further ado, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get straight into it because we've got a full morning this morning. Let's go. If you change your brain, you will change your life. Let me say that again. If you change your brain in the way that you think, the offshoot of that is that your life will begin to take forms that you never thought was a direction for you. It's simply that simple. Ah, let's get into it. What's up? I want to welcome you to the space of giving you permission or giving us permission to think differently. If you've never heard this stated to you before, if you've never heard this directed to you before, I don't give a shit what you've been through. I don't care if you had single parent, both parents lived wealthy, lived in poverty, middle class, if you were a failure in school, if you were 4.0 in school, if you didn't go to college, you went to vocational training, whatever your story is in this space and in life, let me be the one to tell you if you've never heard, you are genius. I'm going to let that settle. You are a genius. If you've read the book Limitless by Jim Quick, you'll know that there are four manifestations of genius. If you've never been told that you are a genius, let Coach V be the first person to speak that into your life because you are a fucking genius. Now, what I want to do in this open sentiment is I'm going to present to you guys the four expressions of your genius, and I want you to tap into these four expressions that I'm going to present to you here in the next couple of minutes and connect to the form or the expression of genius that resonates with you because you, me, are genius. Why isn't my clicker working? Four manners of genius, presented by Jim Quick in the book Limitless, are as follows. Dynamo genius. Dynamo genius is usually expressed through creativity and ideas. Blaze genius normally becomes clear through the expression of human interaction. You can look at a blaze genius as someone who is a master communicator. Okay. Tempo genius. The tempo genius expression has the ability to see the big picture, the broader picture, and stay on course in the minute, focused detail. Still genius. Still geniuses are brilliant at sweating the small stuff, the small details, and they're creating something with those small details. Which manner of genius are you? There could be a combination of the two. You could say, Coach V, I'm all four of them. Wow, you are a magnanimously equipped individual. I tend to veer and connect with Blaze Genius. I love the human interaction, the communication. I feel that communication is the most important form of expression within the human race. And For me, just as for Vernon, human interaction is the ultimate. What form of genius are you? Put it in the chat. Type it in the chat really quick. If you have if you can, if you're driving, do not. But if you are in a position to where you can tap into the chat, your expression of genius, because each of the 33 participants on this call right now, each one of you are a form or an expression of genius in this world. Which one are you? Which two are you? Which three are you? I'd love to see some interaction in the chat. See the chat blowing up. Perfect. Thank you. Temp Blaze, Tempo, Dynamo Blaze. Love it. Love it. My encouragement for you today moving forward is to connect with your manner and expression of genius and manifest that shit in everything that you do. Do not be ashamed of it. Don't be intimidated or impacted by others who are not operating in their manner or expression of genius in your personal life. Fuck work. Talk about us as human beings. You're a genius, man. You're a genius, woman. Let that expression of your manner of genius exemplify itself, manifest itself in everything that you do. If you don't do anything else, we know this motto of the model of our company is be you but fast. And I've added 2 words to that. Be fucking genius. Well, that was 3. Be genius. Be genius. Be is an action word. Be in action in your genius. That's my opening sentiment for you this morning. My brother Dan, I'm going to pass the microphone to you for some programmatic updates because we are trending. Let's go.
All right. Well, like Vernon said, we are having another gangbusters month here in the Flex program. From my count so far, we have 11 pending deals in the month of March. Our goal from Zillow was 8.2. So another month in a row, you guys have blown the sales goal out of the water, and it's 20 days into the month, right? So we've got a whole nother 10 days or 11. I never know what it is in these months, but we're a third of the way through the month, and we are already 25% past our target for Zillow Flex. I want to open it up for our wins of the week. I know a few of you got deals in contract in the last week. I see some faces here of people that got deals in contract for Flex. Anyone want to chime in, take themselves off mute, and share wins of the week that they had with Flex deals? This could be deals you got into contract or people that you moved substantially down the line. Aaron, what do you got?
I have one that I'm working on actively. The agent is counter So we wrote an offer on the property, but this is somebody I was working with back in September, and it's on a condo thing. They were on that. Let's wait for the election. Let's wait for the president inauguration. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait. And now they've dialed it in. They're ready to make offers. They've honed in the 2 communities in Hayward that they're focused on. And the nice thing is you're seeing homes in those communities. When I first met them, it was like there wasn't anything that sold for a year in that community. And now there's 3 houses for them to choose from. They have an offer on one. The guy's kind of countering back and forth. Today, we're going to go look at the other one that just hit the market. If they don't like that other one, then we're probably going to sign the counter offer they sent us, and that should be in contract. And my follow up to that is that something we're logging, or are we waiting until the beginning of April to log that one?
That is a great question. You got me on my next point here. So shoot me a message in Slack. When you get it in contract, pretty good chance, depending on the close of escrow date, that I'm going to ask you to log it for April. And so that goes to everyone. Thank you for bringing that up. If you get a deal in contract in the next 10 days, shoot me a message on Slack before you log it in Zillow. It's okay to log it in the Team Fast Sales Tracker. Get that in the Team Sales Tracker as soon as you can. But before you update it in Zillow, shoot me a message on Slack. Shoot me the client details. I'll double check. If you get a really fast turnaround on close of escrow, like if you get a deal in contract tomorrow and it's a 14-day close, you probably need to log that still because we need to get all the contract paperwork. But if you get a deal in contract and it's a 30-day close, I'll probably ask you to wait until April to log that in Zillow so we can start building up our Zillow closings because we're in really good shape for March. You never know what happens. Always good to sandbag a little bit and make sure we got a nice little buffer. So next 10 days, if you get a deal in contract, shoot me a message on Slack before you enter it into Zillow, and I'll let you know, yep, go ahead, enter it, or hold off, wait until April. But yeah, shoot me the message. Let me know what your close of escrow time frame is, and send me the client contact details. And I'll give you that info. Thank you, Aaron, for teeing me up on that one. Anyone else? Patrick, I see you in your nice fine suit. I think believe you got a deal in contract this last week. Would you walk us through the life cycle? When did you get that client? How'd you nurture them? How'd you get them in contract?
Yeah, no. Good morning, guys. One second, getting a bunch of text message. So I actually got this lead from a Zillow home lender. Called me last year, I believe. I toured a couple houses. They were very demotivated about the rates, about the election, they wanted to wait the whole 9 yards. So, I told them, hey, in the meantime, I'll hook you guys up to this AI-powered app. It's really cool. It's called Real Scout. It makes the home efficient home searches more for you guys.
Camera.
You don't have to go through.
Patrick, you maybe you turn your video off, bro, because you're going in and out in this spotty, and we legit want to hear everything that you've got to contribute. Patrick, going once.
Y'all hear me better?
Yes,
There we
sir.
go.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. I don't know where I left off or where you guys last heard of, but this is last year's lead. Was scared to go and pull the trigger. Hooked them up with Real Scout, told them that hey, we have this really cool AI powered system that works with Zillow directly. So, your home search is a lot more efficient on the way. I know you guys are busy people. So long story short, 6 months later, after all the follow-ups, they wanted to do some home tours with me in the city. Unfortunately, we lost on an offer last week, but strike when the iron's hot. I told them, guys, I know this perfect off-market property. I just called the listing agent. They said we can tour it tomorrow. Do you guys want to go tour it? It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, a lot bigger, blah blah, better than the property we lost on. Toured it the other day. They loved it. Went for some cocktails, strategized on the offer. The offer scenario kind of, the way to drew it just went according to plan, basically, right? We went 850, got it at 900. They were asking 980 in the beginning, so amazing deal. But yeah, that's how that deal went.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, Patrick. And I'd love to, if you could zoom in on one part of that. You got an offer rejected. And I know a lot of the times, many of us have had this situation when the client gets the offer rejected, they get really demoralized, demotivated, and they fall off. But it sounds like you were able to just spin that into some positive forward momentum and got them into contract like within a week. Can you give us a little bit more detail on how did you keep them from getting demoralized after they got that first offer rejection?
Yeah. I mean, it's always you got to learn how to deliver bad news in a good way, right? And so for me, when we lost the offer, it's like, guys, I mean, we almost got it. We almost got it. Make it fun, right? You don't got to make it very solemn and sober, like, oh, guys, sorry, we lost the offer. Like, no, I hyped them up in the offer. I said, they actually said cocktail, Sierra. But I just told them like, hey guys, I appreciate you guys being responsive. I appreciate you guys going into a higher price point that we usually, talked about. Guys, I believe in striking while the iron's hot. I know this is the first offer that we lost in. I don't want to push you guys. Obviously, I want to respect your boundaries, but we have all the paperwork lined up right now, and we have all opportunities, in front of us. Do you guys mind like taking, a couple tours, maybe showing, just just not losing the motivation? Because at the end of the day, I'd hate for us to lose motivation on this and lose opportunity and home ownership possibility this year.
That's fantastic. And what I heard you saying, Patrick, other than taking them out for cocktails, which I love that as well. I heard a phrase this week, which I'd never heard before, was BAM fam. Has anyone ever heard BAM fam? Sales acronym. One of the other teams, a really high producing team. This is a flex team in Southern California that's getting like 850 Zillow leads a month. And one of their core principles is BAM fam. And what that stands for is book a meeting from a meeting. Book a meeting from a meeting. And their idea, and one of the things that they coach to, and sneak peek, you're probably going to hear us talking about this a lot in the coming weeks and months here, is always leave a meeting with another meeting. Bam fam it, right? Book a meeting from a meeting. And Patrick, I heard you bam famming there where you got a rejected offer, but left that conversation with the next step. right? You booked a meeting from a meeting. Hey guys, we're circling back on the offer. We didn't get rejected, but here's our next step. Here's what we're doing. And that is something I would encourage all of you to incorporate in is that BAM FAM principle. Book a meeting from a meeting. Whenever you leave an interaction with the client, have the next interaction planned, right? Book your next meeting from your current meeting. Don't wait till, oh, let's follow up next week and we'll touch base and we'll get some more details on that. Vernon, you look like you might have something to contribute on that. I see your
Yeah,
gears
Dan, I do.
turning.
And Patrick, I'm glad to hear that. And here's why that's so important because we all know there's an emotional attachment to submitting an offer for a buyer and the nerves and the EMD submission and all of that, the waiting period. And did we get it? Oh my God, how long is it going to take? And when oftentimes when our offer does not get accepted, it literally deflates the balloon within the buyer. Like it literally just takes all the air out of them to where oftentimes they get super discouraged to where they want to stop in the middle. We see a tremendous percentage of attrition when that at that juncture. So if we're not booking the meeting or booking the next meeting like Patrick did as in his example, in the same conversation of informing them that our offer didn't get accepted, if we don't make bridge the gap and lead them into what's next, oftentimes buyers will just get discouraged. They won't want to continue to move forward because that emotional roller coaster that's associated with submitting offers and so forth oftentimes becomes too much to bear. So, Patrick, kudos to you, man, for booking that very next meeting and presenting the bad news in a good way, but then also taking them and navigating them to what's next immediately. So you're capitalizing on the momentum and not allowing the negative energy and emotional letdown to settle in so much to the degree that you lose the client. And oftentimes that's what happens as agents. We can't take the emotional letdown. The buyer can't take the emotional letdown. There's this valley of emotional despair that's being experienced. And whether you guys believe it or not, that is where attrition generally happens. So Patrick, that's good shit, bro. Glad to hear that. I know you've got more than one in contract over the past week. So just, congratulations to you, bro. Stay on fire. Keep doing what you're doing. Dan?
All right. I got one other programmatic update, and then I'll pass it back to you, Vernon. Just a reminder, next week, Tuesday, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock is the Zillow Flex quarterly mastermind, right? I'm double checking my calendar that I got that right. 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the Oakland office in person. Be there. We're going to be going over an extension of the topic we're going to be hitting on the second half today, which is long-term nurture for clients. So we're going to be going deep on long-term nurture for your existing pipeline of leads. And we got some things for those of you who are just getting started in the Flex game of long-term nurture that you can still dive into because there is a big, wide open Flex pond for that. Tuesday as well, cocktails for converters. If you've had a closing in the last 6 months, you will have received an invite. Invites already went out. If you think you should have gotten an invite and you didn't get that calendar invite, shoot me a message. I'll double check on it, but this is for closings from the last 6 months. I believe the window is passed, so any new deals that are in contract, if you have not had a closing in the last 6 months and you get one in contract now, you have to wait until next time you'll make it on for the following cocktails for converters. But again, invite only. If you didn't receive an invite, motivation, get a deal in contract. We'll have another one of these hopefully in 3 months. You get yourself on that list, get some free drinks on Kenny's Black Card, and we'll be rocking and rolling. And then I think Vernon, Wednesday database days in Fairfield, right? Do you want to say anything about that?
We'll be in Fairfield, Elias and I, next Wednesday. I don't quite remember the time, but it is on the team calendar. Database days are dope. Database day is the cornerstone of our success. It's an opportunity for us to really sharpen our skills. It's an opportunity for us to really take massive action in terms of managing our database, engaging with our database, strategic approaches of how to trigger responses and engagement from our leads within our database. So if you're in the Solano County area or you want to come down to Fairfield, we really want to encourage you to get in the space, get in the war room. Let's really hone in on our skill sets. Let's master these skills of engagement and outreach so that obviously it's definitely going to have an impact on our conversion. So looking forward to seeing everybody on next Wednesday in Fairfield. Dan, is that what you got?
Yep, that's all I got.
Everybody take yourself off of mute. Right fucking now. We have an announcement to make. Team Fast has been in existence for over 5 years. We have an accumulative, that person cannot get in, Dan. We have an accumulative sales volume of $2.5 billion over the past 5 years. If you're on,
Let's go.
you are
Oh, yeah.
on this call, you know
Let's
we
go.
are the shit. You know that. We are the number 2 producing team within EXP in the world. Straight
Let's
up.
go.
Let's
Bay Area,
go.
they can't fuck with us. Here's my announcement. Never in the history of Team Faz have we ever, as it relates to our partnership with Zillow, ever expanded into new territory. Today's a new day. Today's a new day.
Okay.
What's the new territory, baby?
We are taking over the Central Valley market starting next fucking month. Let's go. Mountain House, Tracy, Stockton, Lodi, Manteca. Dan, did I miss anything?
Said Lodi, right?
Didn't say Lodi. I want you to congratulate yourself because everyone on this call, all 35 of us, we're the reason that we're expanding into the new market. I'm not giving nobody else no fucking credit. And this meeting is recorded. Everybody on this call is responsible for making history within Team Fast, and we're doing something that has never been done up to this point. Now, yes, we come on the shoulders of Kenny, Elias, Molly, Karina, and so forth. We come on the shoulders of everyone who's built the program up to this point, but it's those of you who are on this call that are solely responsible for the expansion into the Central Valley market. So I want to say from me to you, congratulations.
Let's go.
Let's
That's
go.
awesome.
Good job.
Let's go. So that you know, and now I'm in my prophetic mode here. Once we prove effective with the Central Valley market, our next market,
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Sacramento, here we come. The ultimate goal for us as a team is to be the Zillow Flex partner for all of Northern California. We got the Bay Area on lock. Central Valley is already in our grips. They've already given us the zip codes to select from. Dan has already did what Dan does and chose the ones that we want and disregarded the ones that we don't. That's already in the back. Sacramento is where my eyes are set on next because we have a host of top producers in that market that are prepared, equipped, and ready to take over the Sacramento market. So by this time, 6 months from now, you guys will be the Zillow partners for Northern California. We rocking shit. And I just want to say thank you very much and good fucking job. Now put your ass back on mute. Okay, here's my question.
Commanding.
I know, I'm a Leo. That's just, just take it with a grain of salt. Now let's get into it. How do you nurture? Think about a relationship. Men, pretty woman you see, man, got to get at that. Have a conversation with her. Young ladies, handsome man that you see, or woman, or men, woman, whatever your preference is. How do you nurture? What attention to detail do you actually put forth? Are we calling regularly? Are we texting? Are we sending reels through the DMs that remind you of a sweet nothing? Are we, I'm old school. Are we sending songs that express what I want to say and how I'm feeling? I'm a vocalist, but I don't mean I could sing, right? But that doesn't mean I don't try. You feel me? So what creative ways do we can think of, construct when we want to nurture a relationship? Think about that. Everyone's had an affinity, an emotional affinity for a man and or a woman. What did you do? How did you do it? How consistent were you? Did it work? Did you accept no for an answer? Did you overcome the objection? Did you send her flowers? You can let Liz back in because she was here before. Candy, handwritten notes. Back in the days, we used to write, "Will you go out with me? Yes or no?" And fold it up and hand it to my partner and have my partner give it to the girl, right? We got creative on how we would nurture relationships or how we'd express an interest in someone. How do you nurture? The question now is, how does that translate over to your business relationships? How do you nurture your clients? Dan, let's go.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll be nurturing our relationships with each other. No, we're going to get into long-term nurture, like Vernon said, and really thinking about this in terms of how do we nurture those longer-term relationships. So for a long time, we've been hitting on the initial conversation, the initial pass off with customers, right? ALM, booking the appointment, really honing in on showing up for that first appointment. But what we want to talk about and what we want to think about today is the people who aren't ready to buy right this minute. What are you doing? And so I want to start this off and open it to a group discussion. Take yourself off mute, raise your hand, jump in. If you can't talk, throw it in chat. But what are some of the specific things that you do to nurture a client relationship? We think buyers, we can think sellers, but really, honing in on the Zillow Flex clients, what do you do with someone who doesn't want to buy right this minute? How do you keep those folks engaged? What are some of the tools and strategies that you use to keep someone engaged and to nurture a relationship? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Think about it. There's a few low-hanging fruit answers here. Whoever gets their hand up first gets the easy ones, and then we'll start calling on folks.
Talk to
Aaron,
us.
what do you got?
When you know they're kind of, I mean, obviously you set them up on Real Scout and stuff like that to keep that drip going.
Yep.
But I like to try to find out things about them. Like one of my long-term customers has a dog named Charlie. So instead of calling and being like, "Hey, you ready to get back in the market?" You're like asking stuff like, "How the kids doing? How's Charlie doing? What's going on with everything?" And then it kind of leads into the home search because it's weird when you're talking to them about it. I don't know if they're just like, okay, well, they always tend to bring up, well, I'm looking or I saw this, but when you start the conversation with, just hey, I've been focusing a lot on what Elias says, where you don't. I try not to say, hey, I'm just following up, I'm just checking in, and I just call and say, hey, I went by a dog park and I saw, a dog looked just like Charlie, made me think of you, so I wanted to give you a call, and that kind of helps give you a reason to call somebody that is 6 months, a year out, it's just been kind of lingering. And usually that conversation by the end of it, you're talking about real estate.
That's amazing. I love that one. Get someone's dog's names or kids and follow up on something specific and personal. That is such a good one, such a valuable one. I love that. Thank you, Aaron. Blessing, what do you got?
I was going to add, obviously Real Scout, but if you do send out a regular newsletter, making sure that they are included in that campaign. And if there's, based on that conversation, if there's anything specific in the newsletter, you might want to send it to them separate and say, just to Aaron's point, I saw this, thought of you, and really wanted to make sure that you saw this detail because we had talked about XYZ during the call. So I wanted to make sure that you got this. And especially if you're following them on social media, just connecting with them that way so that if they post something, you can still stay engaged and top of mind too.
Oh, that's fantastic. So there's three really good things you said in there. I guess four. Real Scout, yes, definitely. Have a newsletter. And when you have a newsletter, follow up on your newsletter. And that's something you just made me think of that I don't do enough with my own newsletter is follow up with people. If there's specific people that should be hearing the message that you're putting out in a newsletter, make sure that you are calling and following up or sending it to specific people, and then following them on social media. That's a really powerful one as well. What else? Patrick, I see your hand up. What do you got for us, man?
Yeah, for buyers, I typically kind of have an idea of what my leads or like my nature or nurture clients are looking for. So whenever I find a good deal or I'm doing tours, I tend to actually genuinely get excited and I call them and I do a video and I tell them like, hey, I'm touring this property right now. I just thought of you and I thought you'd like this, and kind of to Aaron's point, I make a note on our last conversations and conversations in general and kind of touch up on that too. Like, hey, how's, kind of like everyone say, how's Charlie doing? How's the kids doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then for the sellers, for the listing leads that we have, we typically do pop buys, every month or so, dropping in some bakeries or whatever, right? Just to check in. But yeah.
I have a question. I got a question real quick, Dan. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Mhm,
By a
mhm,
show of hands, how many of you have a newsletter that you put out on a bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly basis? Show of hands. I want to see people's hands, and I want to see who does not have a newsletter. And then I want to ask why. Because a newsletter is a touch point that you can control. And what I mean by that is whether they respond to you or engage with you or not, they're going to receive that newsletter because you're sending it to them via email, right? That's an additional touch point where your messaging can go out, your engagement can be outbound, that is bound to, it's guaranteed to hit their inbox. Most folks check their email every single day. So if you don't have a newsletter, you're missing out on a critical touch point that keeps you front of mind. It keeps you in their face. It keeps your face, your messaging, your expertise, your professionalism, your knowledge base, your market updates, and so forth at the forefront of their mind because they may not be ready to buy right now, but they may be ready to buy in 9 months. And if we don't have consistent and continuous touch points, various touch points, newsletter is one that's critical, we're missing out on a tremendous opportunity to convert. So if you don't have a newsletter, I want to highly encourage you to tap in with the team. There's a template that can be created for you. You populate the content yourself so that you do have that outbound outreach mechanism in addition to some of the other tools that we're going to talk about in today's session. But newsletter is hella important. And if you don't have one, I want to encourage you to get that set up ASAP. That's what I got.
I'd actually love to hear from the group too. I saw several people that didn't raise their hands for the newsletter. For those of you who don't have a newsletter, uh, why not? What's the barrier that's keeping you from putting together a newsletter monthly, quarterly, bi-monthly? Is there anything specific that's holding you back from putting together a newsletter? Yeah, Aaron?
I I would say it's more me. Maybe I'm intimidated by the content and the structure of it and the consistency, feeling like, you know what, I might put out one, but am I going to put it out every week and have that? So it's just not knowing necessarily what to write. I feel like a lot of my engagement is probably reactionary. I feel most comfortable when somebody asks me a question and then I can give them
Hmm.
all the information that I know. But when it's like a blank piece of paper, give people something that is going to inspire them, I clam up a little bit.
Interesting. I appreciate the honesty on that, Liz.
So I've been wanting to do a newsletter, but I think for me, it's just I know we have the resources, but where can I go to like find a template, or is like, do the shredders or the editors, do they help with that kind of marketing?
Yeah,
Yes.
Bernice, I see you want to speak to
Okay.
that?
Yes, they do. So that resource is provided for us as a part of being on the team. All you have to do
Mhm.
is reach out to the marketing department, Molly, anyone in the marketing department, and request the template for the newsletter. So they legit will provide you the template to where you just
Mhm.
populate their content, upload a reel that you've posted on your social media platforms. You can integrate that into the newsletter. You may come across some content from Keep It Moving group coaching that is an aha moment. Market updates. Aaron, when you're speaking of not having much content to share, I 100% stand firm on my disagreement with that position and that thought process because you have so much to share. You have real-time case studies in terms of what's happening with your buyers in the market right now today that is valuable, right? Information is inspiration. Okay? Information is inspiring, particularly to people who are echoing the sentiment of, I'm going to wait for this or wait for that or wait for rates to go down or wait for the inauguration or wait for a new president or wait for whatever they want to wait for. But there are things that are happening in the market right now that are informing or informational to your reader that can trigger inspiration. Does that make sense? Cool.
Danielle, I love your comment in the chat of putting together an accountability group. Would you post that in the team, the Zillow Flex channel, so that people can follow up on that thread and coordinate it there, so we can keep that going? Because I think that would be fantastic to get that together. And I think we can touch on some resources from Team Fast to connect that to everyone, so that we can make sure that you get connected with like the Shredditors or the marketing channel for that as well. Let's go Sierra Blessing. I think that's a new hand, and then we'll go to Glenn. So Sierra.
Hi guys. Newsletters overwhelm me and I tend to not open them. And I just imagine that other people feel the same. And it's partially because there's too much information. So I prefer a weekly just blast of something that might be relevant. Maybe it's even just 3 or 4 sentences, just something really easy. I just feel like we live in a time where people don't have the attention span to look through, you know, a bunch of videos or even click on that stuff. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. I don't really know. I mean, I know people do get good open rates from emails, but I don't know if, I guess certain platforms you can see if they're like actually engaging in it, if they're opening the video, if they're watching it, how long they spent on it. I'm not really sure, but I think those things are important to know if you're putting the time in to create something like that. Like how much engagement are you getting from it?
And you know what, Sierra? Let me just go ahead and give you some kudos right now. Dan knows this. I don't know if everyone else on the team knows. Whether it's a newsletter, whether it's something short, quick, that's informational, it's clearly working for you, Sierra. Out of the entire Flex team, over the last 6 months, if you guys don't know, we're going to give Sierra some kudos now because she has the most closed transactions on this whole damn call. 6. Okay. 6 closed Zillow transactions over the past 6 months. So Sierra, if the newsletter, if you like, fuck that newsletter, I'm with you. Fuck that newsletter. But as long as you're sending something out.
Okay.
And it's clearly working because 6 closed Zillow transactions over the past 6 months. And she is a new agent on the Zillow Flex team. Has absolutely been crushing it. So want to give you your kudos. Thank you for mentioning that. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
Yeah, I just want to throw in on one thing on Sierra, and then we'll go to Glenn here. I don't think there's anything necessarily special about a newsletter per se. I think the idea though is that you have something that's going out to your entire database monthly or every other week. And it's not just an email that's, hey, you still looking to buy a house? Or you still looking to sell your house, right? Just information, something that is putting your face and your name and useful content in front of your clients on a regular, consistent basis. That's it. If it takes a newsletter form, great. If it's a video of you, giving updates on your city for 30 seconds, great. But something that's consistent, that's the key of what we're trying to get at to the entire database, right? And it sounds like you're doing that just in a different form. Glenn/Oakland office, what do you got for us?
Sideways, Glenn. What up, Glenn?
What up, dog? How's it going? For me, I love to do a call to action, right? So if it's in my newsletter, like if I put something about interest rates or BMRs or new construction or whatever it might be, I always will follow it up with a call to action. So if I know that it applies to like 6 clients, I will reach out to them separately and say, hey, wanted to make sure that you had a chance to read that article in my newsletter.
I love that. I love that, Glenn. Love
that. Chris from the car, what do you got?
Yeah, I see the benefit of newsletter more to stay connected to your past clients. For example, last week I had somebody hit me up off my newsletter and kind of texted back. So, oh, it's good that you and Sophia have been busy. And he texted me off of my newsletter, and I showed him a property because he had family from India coming. And after connecting with them, now they have a house they want to sell and they want to liquidate that to buy a property for the family from India. So if I wasn't have that because I'm bad at just contacting people regularly. So my newsletter shows them what's up because I put all my active listings, my pendings, my solds on there. I put information about the economy. I reiterate stuff for Ryan Lundquist and Patty Goodspeed on a newsletter. So they're seeing this, they're planting seeds in their head. If they don't see that at least monthly, they're going to forget about you. Just, you know what I mean? So I feel like my newsletter will get me at least a couple extra deals a year, and it's on autopilot. You know what I mean? So yeah, I see it's huge staying connected with past clients more than just trying to pick up new leads.
Yes, that is such a good point, right? If you can mine your existing database, and congratulations, Chris, that's amazing that you got that deal or you got the re-engagement out of it in that way. And that is such the big point is top of mind. Like I think I saw Daniela say in the chat just a little bit scrolled up ago is you're trying to stay top of mind because if you're not putting your contact information in front of them every single month, when 3 years from now they're suddenly ready to pull the trigger on something and they're scrambling around being like, man, what my realtor's name? Oh my God, I forgot his name and I can't find anything from him. Like, shoot, I would love to use that person again, but I can't, I changed email addresses, whatever. They're gonna go with someone else. But you're just trying to stay top of mind. Let's transition now to a different type of follow-up and engagement, and that is something that we have been just beating a dead horse with, but we can never emphasize enough here, and that is video for follow-up, long-term nurture. Video, 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 video. We've been talking about this enormously. Show of hands, you can just throw them up on the screen, use the emojis in the chat, whatever. Who is using video actively for their long-term nurture game? I'm not talking about the new clients. You just got a customer that came through, you're sending them a video message on Dub when the lead came through 3 hours ago, but a lead that came through 3 months ago or 12 months ago. Who is using video for their long-term follow-up game?
Let me see the
Let me
hand.
see. You got
Yeah,
Liz? Yeah, Vernon, what you got?
No, I'm looking. I got a lot of hands down.
Yes. Sebastian, would you tell us a little bit about how are you using video?
Well, when I just had my conversation with Vernon, I just started to, sending videos to those clients that I couldn't, set at unemployment. So they started to watch the video and they started to see more properties again. I was looking in Zillow and was just looking them in Real Scout, looking properties as well. So I think it's worth it, to be honest.
So you're targeting the clients who you have not connected with, but you can see from their activity on Real Scout and Follow Up Boss that they are active. Is that right?
Yeah, in Real Scout, especially
Yeah.
in Real Scout, they're getting active.
And what does the video look like? What are you saying to them on video?
I'm just saying like, hey, this is Sebastian. I will be here. If you need, something, if you want to go out to the property. I also know that there is a new loan program that you could qualify, like you can qualify for this grant or something like that. So they see the video and they start looking properties in the Real Scout.
You got a little hook in there.
Dan, you have a real life case study in terms of your experience with re-engaging through video that you share with me. Please share it with the
Well, after hearing you talk about how important video was, I finally decided to integrate it in my own follow-up game. And just a couple weeks ago, I had a lead that I had not been able to contact, one of my own personal leads that from an online source. And it's just, call, text, email, nothing. And so I finally sent them a video through Dub of myself, just, hey, this is Dan, I'm a local realtor. I got your info on your home. Did just a quick little run through. It was a seller lead, so I gave them a little details on their neighborhood. Less than 60 seconds. I think it was like a 30-second video or so, but just sent them a video email. About 2 days later, I got a notification through Dub that this person has opened and viewed your email. Like, oh, that's cool. So then I called them and they finally answered, and I've got engagement with them now. So after nothing, right after they opened that email, then called back because they didn't respond to the email, but I saw that they opened and watched that video. Then that was when I touched base with them again and I was able to finally connect. And we were able to get some actual engagement going on that.
Love
Right.
it.
So that was just a super useful segue into real connection. All right. Vernon, anything you want to hit on video? Because I think in our last 9 minutes we can do this Dub setup thing and maybe save the follow-up boss stuff for Tuesday.
We are going to save the follow-up boss stuff for Tuesday, and I do. Public service announcement. there's a new standard that we are enforcing and implementing effective today. I've been beating a dead horse with this team about the usage of video for engagement, whether it's a recap video, whether it's leads that we've not been able to effectively engage. You just heard Dan. Call, text, email, no response. Call, text, email, no response. Call, text, email, no response. Sends a video. Huh. Engagement happens. Magical. Why is that? Because the video, like you're seeing me now, like I'm seeing you now, highlights human interaction, energy. It's not as bland, it's not as corporate as a call, text, email, call, text, email. I think Sierra said it best earlier. She doesn't want to send the newsletters because it's too much information. I'm sure that's the psychology of a bunch of recipients of hella emails. Call, don't want to be called. If the phone number is not for me, if your number is not saved in my phone and you call me, you will not get an answer. I will send you the voicemail. And if it's important enough, you'll leave a voicemail. And if I know who you are and I want to talk to you, I may call you back. The point of it is it's highly possible that our follow-up boss numbers are not saved to our name in their phone, in their contact list. So it's highly possible that the mindset is very similar. I don't know who this number is. Let's see if they leave a voicemail. Some of us are trained that if we get a voicemail when we're calling a lead, don't leave a message. We had that conversation the other day. So if we're not leaving a message, how do they know who we are? If we're texting from follow-up boss and they don't have the number saved, are they going to respond? But if they see your face and they hear your voice and they see you got tattooed sleeves, or you got muscles, or you're pretty, or you're whatever. Oh, yeah, that's who that's been reaching out to me through call, text, email that I've been completely disregarding. But wow, look at Dan's mustache. He's got a nice mustache. Yeah, I'm going to hit him back, or I'm going to engage, or when he calls next time, I may be responsive. Video is the move. Okay. Video, we live in the era of content creation. We live in the era of technology, AI, video interaction, reels. We live in that dispensation. It would behoove us to not leverage the current technology to help us get ahead of the game. We just heard case study after case study after case study. So now I'm to the point of I almost feel like I'm Lisette, because when Lisette gets super passionate, you guys, if you've never been around her, you could tell she's passionate because her veins start popping out of her neck. My veins are starting to pop out of my neck. Okay? I'm not talking about video anymore. We're mandating video from this point forward because it is effective. And we are about conversion. We are a media-driven real estate team in a completely cloud-based brokerage. It's digital. So why in the hell aren't we leveraging digital technology to engage? So from this moment forward, if you don't have Dub integrated into your follow-up bots, I am requiring you to do it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't like your face in the camera. Get over it. We're about production. We're leveraging technology. Okay. Here's how we will know that you have integrated Dub into your follow-up bots, because once you do it, I am requesting that you record a very short, hey Vernon, this is Blessing. Just want you to see my face and let you know that I'm not picking on Blessing because Blessing probably already uses video, but she's like right there underneath my square. And so I'm like, hey girl, yes, I want to see your video. Email it to me, CC Dan and Samantha. I want to see your video. Integrate Dub into your follow-up boss and start to use it on a regular basis. The same way we're advocating for you guys to get engaged with AI, ChatGPT, and any of the other AI platforms that are out there to enhance what it is that we do. Video engagement, video communication enhances what we do. We are requiring you to leverage video technology moving forward. When I sit with you in your one-to-one pipeline review, agent performance, agent development, whatever sessions we sit down, regarding you and your performance, I am going to ask you, pull up your follow-up, boss, and show me your video engagement. If you cannot show me, if we get the you get to doing that, I'm gonna my finger on the pause button. This just is what it is. We are leveraging video. We're using technology to produce, to increase our conversion, our efficacy, our visibility, our effectiveness, and our results. Is everyone clear? I just want to make sure everyone's clear. I don't want you to say, Coach V, you didn't tell me that I had to use video. You have to use video to engage with your leads through your CRM. If I don't see it, you will be paused. I just want to be clear. How to integrate Dub is in our Zillow Flex Slack channel. Patrick has uploaded that shit I don't know how many times. Just want to make sure that we're clear. Blessing, what you got? Blessing
I
going
was
once.
going to fall on the sword and ask. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Don't do that. I was going to fall on the sword and ask for instructions, but you just answered my question. So I will defer to our Slack channel for how to integrate it. And there was another question, but you threw me off. So we're good.
It's all good. Dan, what you got, bro?
All right, I got a final sentiment to leave everyone on of why we're thinking so much about this long-term nurture and conversion thing. And that is a number 92. 92 is the average number of days for Team Fast from contact to close for all of our sold deals in the last 6 months. The last 6 months, our average closing took 92 days from contact to closing, which is great that we are capturing the low-hanging fruit and the medium-hanging fruit. But we know for a fact that most buyers are lingering around searching for 6 months or more before they actually purchase a property. We are killing it right now with our stats. We are exceeding Zillow's goals. We're exceeding Zillow's expectations. And what I see, what Vernon sees, what Elias sees, what Kenny sees is that we've got an enormous amount of potential with our long-term nurture game. We're squeezing a lot of juice out of these early leads, getting the people who are ready to pop 3-month turnaround. They're ready to buy a house. They're motivated. Boom, we're getting them. We're closing them. We're making those deals work. If we can get our average time from contact to close to 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's going to be telling us that we are really squeezing the most out of these leads. We're getting the most out of the opportunities that are being delivered, because I know there is a lot of leads in nurture right now. I'm looking at Follow Boss and seeing 2,700 leads in all of our profiles that are in nurture stage that have not been contacted in the last 30 days. There is a lot of opportunity to drive even more sales and closings and get us expanding even faster.
Right on, bro. In closing, we're looking forward to seeing your video emails sent to us. Today is Thursday. It takes 2 minutes to integrate Dub. We'll give you till Saturday. Bombard our email inboxes with your video clip. This is required and expected from everyone on the Flex team. We are leveraging technology because it is proven to be effective. In true keep it moving fashion, keep it moving towards your dreams, your goals, and your visions. Crush your weekend. Let's fucking go. Peace.